Welcome to the haunting tale of Emily Winters and the Lighthouse of Shadows. Dive into a spine-chilling mystery as Emily uncovers the secrets of a cursed village and a lighthouse shrouded in whispers and darkness. Each chapter will unravel deeper secrets, pulling you closer to the truth if you dare to follow. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to join Emily on her thrilling journey. And remember, each chapter ends with a new twist. Will you uncover the next? After her harrowing escape from the forgotten crypt, Emily Winters promised herself some time off, but restlessness was her constant companion. She found herself browsing old archives late at night, searching for whispers of unexplained phenomena. It wasn't long before a new mystery surfaced, old letter delivered by courier. Sealed with a wax crest of a lighthouse shrouded in mist, the letter arrived in the dead of night, slipped beneath her door like a whisper from the void. Emily Winters didn't hear the courier. She didn't see anyone leave yet. The envelope sat there, its surface damp with salt water and marked by a crest. She didn't recognize a lighthouse wreathed in mist. She hesitated. The air felt heavier, colder, as though the letter carried more than words. Finally, she broke the seal.
Miss Winters, the spectre's light calls. The dead walk in Blackthorn Bay. If you value the truth, come. Captain Elias Kane.
Emily's pulse quickened. She had chased many mysteries, but none had felt this personal. She turned the letter over and froze, the faint imprint of a hand, too large and clawed to be human, marred the paper. It wasn't ink. It was blackened salt. She didn't sleep that night. By morning, Emily was already on her way to Blackthorn Bay. The journey to Blackthorn Bay was as bleak as the tales she had read about it. Emily's car groaned over uneven roads, the tires crunching gravel as she approached the remote coastal village. A thick fog clung to the cliffs like a veil, obscuring the jagged rocks that lined the shore. The air smelled of salt and damp earth, and the cries of distant gulls were the only sounds that pierced the oppressive silence. As she entered the village, the atmosphere shifted. The few residents she passed stopped what they were doing to stare, their faces a mixture of suspicion and fear. Weathered houses leaned against each other for support, their roofs patched with mismatched shingles. The streets were narrow and uneven, lined with cobblestones slick with mist. A wooden sign creaked in the wind, its paint peeling to reveal the faint words, "Welcome to Blackthorn Bay." Beneath it, someone had scrawled in red paint, "Turn back." Emily parked her car in front of the only inn, a squat building with warped windows and a faded sign that read "The Mariner's Rest." She pushed the door open, a bell jingling faintly as she stepped inside. The innkeeper, Agnes, stood behind the counter. She was a stout woman with sharp features softened by age, her graying hair pulled into a tight bun. Her eyes narrowed as she took in Emily's presence.
"Room for the night?"
Agnes asked, her voice clipped. Emily nodded, feeling the weight of the older woman's gaze. As she signed the guest book, she noticed several names crossed out with heavy lines. The ink smudged as though someone had tried to erase them.
"You're here for the lighthouse, aren't you?"
Agnes said, not waiting for an answer. Emily hesitated.
What can you tell me about it?
Agnes leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper.
"It's cursed. Has been for decades. The lightkeeper disappeared 50 years ago, and the only thing they found was his boot, washed up on the rocks, soaked in blood.
Emily's pen froze mid-signature.
What do the villagers say about it?
Agnes straightened, her expression hardening.
They don't. Best you don't ask either. They won't like it.
That evening, Emily wandered the village, her notebook in hand. She tried to talk to the locals, but most avoided her, muttering excuses as they hurried away. Only one man, an old fisherman mending his nets by the dock, offered her more than a glance.
"You don't belong here,"
he said, his voice rough like the sea.
"People who come looking for answers find more than they're prepared for."
Emily pressed him for details, and he relented, his gaze fixed on the fog-covered horizon.
"They say the lighthouse calls to the lost. Ships that wreck on those cliffs never leave a trace of their crew. And on stormy nights, you can hear them, the sailors, screaming for help. But it's not help they want. They want company."
Before Emily could ask more, he gathered his nets and disappeared into the shadows, leaving her alone by the water's edge. The sound of the waves seemed louder now, the crash of the tide echoing in her ears. Back at the inn, Emily found another warning waiting for her. Tucked under her door was a piece of parchment, the edges frayed and the ink smeared as though it had been written in haste.
"Don't follow the light at night."
She read the note twice, her mind racing. What light? Who had left the note? And why did the air suddenly feel colder, the shadows in the corners of her room deeper? Emily placed the note in her journal and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the faint glow of the lighthouse through her window. The soft pulse of its light seemed almost alive, as though it were watching her in return. Her resolve hardened. Whatever secrets Blackthorn Bay and its lighthouse held, she was determined to uncover them. As Emily turned to leave the tavern, a low, mournful horn echoed through the fog, stopping her in her tracks. The sound seemed to come from the cliffs, carrying an eerie resonance that sent a shiver down her spine. Agnes froze behind her, her weathered face pale.
"That's the lighthouse calling,"
she muttered, barely above a whisper. Emily's heart raced as she glanced toward the shadowy silhouette of the lighthouse on the hill. Its faint light flickered, pulsing unnaturally.
"Don't ignore it."
Agnes added, her voice trembling.
"The lighthouse chooses who it calls, and it never calls without reason."
Thanks for joining us on this chilling chapter of Emily Winters and the Lighthouse of Shadows. Just when you think you've uncovered the truth, the shadows grow darker and the mysteries deepen. What lies beyond the next door Emily dares to open? What secrets does the lighthouse still hide? Stay tuned for the next gripping chapter, where the stakes rise and the unknown calls louder than ever. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next.